All right, welcome to our deep dive into AI, where we cut through all the noise to find the signal. And man, is it noisy this week. Is AI this incredible revolution that's changing everything? Or is it a massive bubble that's just about to pop? We're going to get to the bottom of it. And hey, if you want to make sure you're always ahead of the curve, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. So check this out. This is what's got everyone's heads spinning this week. On one side of your newsfeed, you're seeing headlines like, "The AI bubble is gonna burst any day now." And then on the other side, you see Anthropic's valuation hitting numbers that look more like a country's GDP. I mean, what is going on here, right? Are we in a bubble? Is this the boom? Or is it something else entirely? Okay, so here's how we're gonna break this all down. First, we're gonna lay out all the evidence for the bubble. You know, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Then we'll flip it and look at why some people are betting billions on the revolution. But the real key, the thing that ties it all together, is a huge development from just this week. And that's gonna lead us straight to our final verdict on what's really happening and what you need to do about it. All right, let's start with the fun stuff. The case for the bubble. Seriously, if you're looking for proof that the hype is getting way out of control, well, you don't have to look very far. And honestly, some of these examples are just chef's kiss hilarious. So the whole argument here is pretty simple. The promises are, world-changing. But the actual performance, it's often kind of meh, unreliable, and sometimes it's just plain weird. Let me show you what I mean. And I want you to look at these. These aren't just little software glitches, okay? We've got police AI citing soccer matches that literally never happened. We have a judge's ruling in Scotland that contains completely hallucinated quotes. Deloitte had to give back nearly $500,000 because their AI-generated report was, well, a mess. And my personal favorite, an AI-powered vending machine that started ordering live fish and guns. You can't make this stuff up. These are deep, fundamental failures. And it's not just these wild, one-off stories. If you're running a business, this next number should really get your attention. IBM surveyed 2,000 businesses and found that a whopping 75%, 3 out of every 4, AI projects are failing to deliver on their promise. Think about that. That is a ton of money, time, and effort just going down the drain. That's a huge red flag if you're on Bubble Watch. And this isn't just me saying this. Listen to this quote from Eric Brethenow. He's the head of AI research at Gartner, the firm that advises basically every major corporation on the planet. He said, "AI is not doing its job today and should leave us alone." Wow. When a guy in that position is telling you to just hit the pause button, you know the frustration is real. The message is loud and clear. For a lot of people, the tech just isn't ready for prime time. But just as you're thinking, okay, it's all hype, I get it, the numbers pull you in a completely different direction. I mean, the money pouring into this space is just too big to ignore. The story it tells is the complete opposite of a bubble. And here's the crucial difference. The folks who are all in on the revolution, they're not looking at rogue vending machines. They're looking at how AI is being industrialized. It's happening behind the scenes, far away from all the consumer hype, and it's starting to look like a real engine for business. Let's just start with the big, jaw-dropping number that completely contradicts the bubble talk. $380 billion. That's Anthropic's new valuation. Let's be real, that's not just venture capital money anymore. That is nation-state level investment. The big money isn't betting on a gimmick. They're betting on the next foundational layer of the global economy. And it's not just investors. This is real people spending real money. OpenAI just blew past $3 billion in consumer revenue. And what are they doing with that cash? They're investing in their own nuclear energy infrastructure. Yeah, you heard that right. Nuclear energy to power their future models. This is a company that's thinking so long-term, they're not just a software company anymore. They're becoming an infrastructure and energy company. That's a whole different ballgame. And if you want a perfect example of what this looks like in the real world, look at Airbnb. They just announced that they've already automated a full third of their customer support inquiries. This isn't some test or a pilot program. This is a core, expensive part of their business that is now being handled by AI, directly boosting their profit margins. That is the industrial engine we're talking about. Okay, so how is this possible? How can AI be both a useless vending machine ordering fish and a super efficient industrial engine? What gives? Well, the answer, I think, lies in a really important development that just happened this week. It's a shift that takes AI from being a chatbot you talk to a coworker that actually does stuff for you. So first, we need to get this term down, agentic AI. This is the whole ballgame right here. We're moving away from AI that just gives you answers to an AI that can actually take on a project. It can create a plan, it can use different tools, and it can execute a series of steps to get a job done. It's the difference between asking for a recipe and having an assistant that actually cooks the meal for you.
And this isn't science fiction anymore. As of this week, it's real. Anthropic just rolled out Claude Cowork, and here's the kicker, it runs on Windows, which is what almost every business on Earth uses. You basically point it to a folder on your computer, you give it a high-level goal like, hey, take all these receipts and build me an expense report, and it just does it. It makes a plan, you approve it, and then it gets to work, reading files, opening spreadsheets, renaming things. The whole idea of an AI agent just went from a cool concept to an app on your desktop.
Now, for all the business leaders and execs watching this is where you really need to lean in. Because all that power, it's a massive double-edged sword. When you have an AI agent with the keys to your file system, you're looking at a whole new universe of risk. We're talking about sensitive data getting leaked to the cloud, malicious code hidden in a document that hijacks the agent, even a simple misconfiguration that could lead to it deleting a critical project folder. This is a brand new, massive headache for your IT and security teams. So, where does that leave us? Let's bring it all home and get to the final verdict. Bubble? Boom? What's the real story here for your business? Okay, so here's the big takeaway. It's not a bubble and it's not a boom. It's both. At the same time, what we're actually seeing is something I'm calling the great decoupling. There are two completely different AI worlds evolving in parallel, and the biggest mistake you can make right now is confusing one for the other. So on one side, you've got the hype bubble. This is the world of those general-purpose chatbots and flashy, gimmicky apps that promise you the world but just don't deliver. That bubble, yeah, it's definitely bursting. People are getting tired of it. But then, on the other side, you have the industrial engine. This is all about those quiet, operational, embedded agents that are automating real workflows, cutting real costs, and driving real revenue for companies like Airbnb. And that engine, it's just warming up. So what's your move? My advice? Watch the hype bubble with a healthy dose of skepticism, but start experimenting with the industrial engine and do it with extremely tight control and governance. And that brings us to our final question for you. And I want you to really think about this. Forget all the sci-fi stuff for a second. Think about the most boring, repetitive, annoying tasks in your own company. The stuff that involves shuffling files around, like expense reports, summarizing meeting notes, manually entering data. What is the very first workflow you would hand over to an AI agent if you could, like tomorrow? Go ahead and drop your answer in the comments below. I really want to see what you all come up with. And that's all for this week's Explainer. If this helped you make sense of the chaos, do me a favor and hit that like button. And of course, subscribe so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.